I'm Sharon Bill. Welcome to my Theory Tuition series. Over the next few videos I'm going to be taking a closer look at intervals. If you're working towards an ABRSM grade or you want to find some further examples to work on, I covered this topic in the videos for ABRSM grades 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 in increasing difficulty, and you can find the links to those videos in the cards and also in the description below. There are lots of resources available to help you on my website. If you go to sharonbill.com, you'll find some free PDFs and they contain all the information that you need to work through each of the grades and the topics involved there. You can download those in US letter or A4, and you can also find links to the books that I have available. I've written some exam technique guidebooks, how to take your ABRSM music theory, and it's full of tips and hints on how to best prepare for your exam. So if you can give me a like, that would be fab, and please do subscribe to my channel to keep updated. There's lots more in store. And now we're going to take a closer look at this topic of the interval of a second. So in its most basic sense, we're literally stepping 2 notes up the scale. Your first note, so we'll use note C, is obviously counted as number 1, but actually it can be really easy to forget that and just count and move on. So we need note 1, 2, and we know we've gone 2 degrees up. We've got 2 letter names, C to D, and we would call that the interval of a second. So I'm just going to write a few more of those intervals because I'll show you now how we can just adjust those by semitones and extend them and shrink them, and the names that they would then be given. So each of those is a second. Now this is a major second, and if you just look on the piano keyboard, it's a really good visual aid. Even if you don't play piano, you can see that C to D is a full step made up of 2 halves. It's a full tone made up of 2 semitones, and that is called the major interval. It's also part of the major scale, but that's not always the clue. Major literally means greater, and so this is the full step. That's the major interval. C major has no sharps or flats, and that's perfectly compliant with that major scale. Now if we make the D into a D flat, we've made the interval smaller, and that's a minor interval. Minor means smaller, and it's smaller by a semitone. So we've gone from C to D flat here. C to D flat, we've made that interval smaller. Now we can also make that interval a minor interval by raising the lower note. So instead of from C to D, if we raise that lower note and go from C sharp to D, that also is a minor interval, which is a semitone smaller than the major interval, but we've done it by changing the lower note up rather than the upper note down. But you can see it's the same distance away, and so we've created another minor interval by changing the lower note and raising that upper semitone. Now we can extend that interval, and instead of going from C to D, we can call it C to D sharp, and we've augmented that interval, we've made it bigger. So C to D sharp is an augmented interval. And we can also augment this interval by lowering the bottom note. So instead of C to D, which is the major, if we go C flat to D, we've augmented that. Now don't mistake that for a B, because it's still written as a C. We've just augmented it by flattening that note, because we're still only representing 2 steps on the scale ladder, and so that would also be an augmented second. So let's look at those in context, because I think sometimes the trap to fall into is to think that major intervals are always in the major scale and minor intervals are only in the minor scale. So let's write out the scale of G minor. So if we start G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and we know that G minor has a key signature of B flats, E flats, and then we'll raise the 7th, we'll make it harmonic minor. Now here we can see we've got G, A, B flat, C to D is our major second. So even though it's part of G minor scale, we can see that that major second is still part of that scale series of steps. Now let's write out the scale of D major. So just give ourselves an octave, I think that will do. So D major has F sharps and C sharps. And then if you notice, C sharp to D, although it's in a major scale, C sharp to D is a minor interval because it's been made smaller, C sharp to D. So you're always thinking of counting from the lowest note up, regardless of what key you're in. You're only taking note of the key to make sure that we've got the correct sharps and things in place. But this is a minor second, even though it's part of the major scale. So you have to look at each interval individually in its own right, regardless of which structure it's within. So that's the interval of a second. Hopefully that's helped to clear the topic of intervals of a second. If you want to find more, please do go and look at the videos. You'll find the links in the description below and also in the cards to find more practice on this topic. Please also visit sharonbale.com and make use of all of the resources and information that's there to help you. If you can give me a like, that would be really super, and please subscribe to my channel to keep updated. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.